Welcome to the One Bloody Take movie podcast, where we go back in time several decades to browse the aisles of your local video store. I'm Paul.
And I'm Russ.
And today we're renting the 1992 movie Dr. Giggles, so get your popcorn and snow caps ready while we give you our bloody take. So I'm walking down the aisles of my local video store, and I don't have a particular movie in mind, so I'm probably in the horror section looking for something that might catch my eye. And this poster is like halfway to interesting for me. You got the dark sullen eyes, and then you got the doctor hiding the scalpel behind his back, and the doctor is out of his mind. It's intriguing enough, and then I look at the list of stars, and I'm using that word a little loosely, but these are known people, and especially in the 90s when I'm walking through looking for horror movies, if I see that there's a collection of known people, I'm going to be a little more prone to pick that movie, because I'm going to assume that there was some sort of quality control that went into this movie. Boy, was I fucking wrong, but we can get into that. I watched the trailer, and the trailer is extremely misleading, but I get why they're doing it. But everything presented here is not true to what the movie actually is.
So many lines don't even exist, and the cut of the doctor operating on himself is different
and confusing, and it's even more confusing once you see it in the movie, which is really a cool thing that they pulled off.
Part of the problem with the movie, I believe, is the attempt at humor, and that's what we get. The doctor is out of his mind. Usually you would want to say, like, the doctor is in, because the doctor's here now. So even that is weird. But the way that Dr. Giggles talks in the trailer, I believe, is far superior to how he talks in the movie.
Yeah. And
I want that Dr. Giggles to deliver the lines in that tone as opposed to the tone that we got. And I think it plays differently.
So there are jokes littered with I mean, I'm going to very, very loosely use the word joke here. There are jokes littered within this movie, and I tried my best to come up with, like, what this all felt like to me, because it was not a good movie. I don't know if I can make that any clearer. I will try over the next however long we do the show here, but this, I don't quite know how to explain this, but this sort of works. You have organizations such as the National Realtors Association and things like this, and once a year they get together and they do sort of a roast of their own industry, if you will, and they give out awards and all that stuff. Someone in there will film some goofy staged thing where they take the things that are most mocked about their industry, and they'll do a goofy little send-up of it. And every single one of these jokes felt like a bunch of doctors got together and did a little roast for the doctors and just picked out the things. It was so I'm trying. It was It was so disconcerting the way that they worked most of these jokes in, that it completely removed you from the movie altogether. Yeah. They may as well have stopped and looked at the camera and said the joke and then went back to the scene.
Well, Dr. Giggles does at the end of the movie.
Well,
he looks right at the camera. Yeah. So I mean, you are correct. And they're not so much jokes as they are observations said out loud. There's no twist. It's giving, sometimes maybe there's a double meaning, but they're not changing a couple of words unless, there might be an example. But for the most part, it's just saying what's happened or what a doctor would say.
Well, right. That's what it is they're employing known doctor phrases in slightly shifted situations. You know what I mean? Like the doctor would normally say this, but now you're about to die while he's saying it. Isn't that wacky?
And some are incredibly forced. It's at no point would anybody say this.
No. In the history of human language, a lot of these sentences have never come up.
And I believe we talked about this a little bit last week, or maybe the week before, about forced jokes in sitcoms. Like sitcoms only have a joke. Somebody will only say something that they would never say, so somebody else can make a joke.
So they can set it up.
And for the way this movie looked and felt, and I know a lot of 90s movies suffer from this, but I felt like it was a TV show or made for TV movie based on how it looked. And then when I looked into the director, most of everything he's done has been TV. Did a Star Trek Enterprise, Dexter, American Horror Stories, Outer Limits. I believe he did an episode of Monsters. I don't know if you remember that show. It was kind of goofy and campy, but it was decent. And then when we look at some of the people that were chosen for this movie, Jennifer Campbell. I never watched Charmed, but I know it exists. She's Piper Holloway, did 179 episodes, and then Picket Fences 88, and Glenn, the boyfriend, Max Anderson, he's Becky's boyfriend. So he was in a long-running sitcom. And when you look at a lot of the other actors and actresses in this episode. So there are a lot of sitcom television people doing a movie. And I think that's just kind of why it felt so off for me at times.
I guess that's part of it. I'm not one to necessarily say, that TV actors are different than movie actors, but especially back then, before entertainment really all melded into one thing. There really was a tiered distinction between your TV actors and your movie actors.
And I agree that wasn't so much my point, but I understand that does make sense. My point was almost it's how they're going about their actions, how they're going about their lines, the purposeful paths that they chose.
Right.
Makes it not so. It's not so much talent. I think John Travolta was the first one to be like, hey, I can be in movies too after being on TV. And today it's just, commonplace. But there was a time where there was, that bias. But I feel like you would deliver your lines differently on a sitcom than you would be in a serious movie or a comedy or a horror movie. So it depends on the type of movie that you're in or the type of media that it's being presented on.
I think I want to go back if I can find the time. I think I want to go back and I want to just lay a laugh track in on this movie. And I think I might be able to improve the presentation of it with a couple of those, like, not necessarily the laughs themselves, but, some scenes happen and you get kind of like that woo person in the background. Like, that guy could do a lot for making this movie better.
TK Jewelers is a scam.
Woo! So the plot of the movie is that an escaped mental patient goes back to his hometown to get revenge on the town that killed his father. Now, that plot line by itself could work, but they managed to take every piece of that one sentence plot line and make it so far-fetched and immediately far-fetched and confusing. Immediately in this movie we get I won't talk about the opening scene just yet, but we get that he is an unnamed patient. That's why they're calling him Dr. Giggles. He's patient like 192 or something like that.
Yeah.
Conceptually, as this movie unfolds, I have to believe that a 7-year-old child disappeared from the face of the earth, showed up in an insane asylum, has been kept there for 40 years, and no one has been able to piece together who this kid is. Now, granted, I guess the investigation only goes so far, but at just around the same time that this kid must have gotten checked in, a couple of other people died not too far away, and their son has not been located. Immediately, he's been here for 40 years and we don't know who he is preposterous. And I know we're getting ready for a dumb movie. I get it. But like, there's these underpinning details. And by the way, right, it wouldn't have mattered. That's what irks me, I guess, even more. It wouldn't have mattered if you knew that he was the kid of the doctor who got killed. It wouldn't have, like it's not a surprise twist at any point. It's interwoven into the plot of the whole movie. So identifying him as he breaks out, oh, that's the kid whose father got killed, whatever, wouldn't have made a difference to not keep him a secret and not have me believe that for 40 years this fucking kid grew up and nobody was able to piece together who he was.
The only thing that does is give the idiots of more high plausible deniability that this could actually be him coming back. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because if people are dying, people are dying.
Right.
It doesn't matter necessarily who's killing them or why. It's just the goal is to get it to stop. So yeah, it so much doesn't make sense that when reading it off the screen, Officer Joe can't even get the years and age and everything correct. It's right in front of him. We're reading it the same as him, but it's two different things that he says as far as his age and when he was put under care.
So, and I had another problem with this movie, and I don't think it's anybody's fault, but so Larry Drake, mostly a character actor, got caught fire by playing a retarded guy on LA Law. He played Benny, and he did it very well. I think he won Emmys for it. Like, he did it supremely well. Unfortunately for me, he did it so well that that's all I can see him as. And I know he was in Darkman, and I liked him in Darkman too, but all I can see him as is the slow kid, because he did that so well. And somehow that's like a tribute to his abilities and also like a knock against him, because now anytime I see him, I'm never going to believe he's crafty or intelligent. I'm going to think that he's Benny from LA Law.
I call that Bakula syndrome. I will never see Scott Bakula in something and not expect him to leap. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
There are some people that happens with, and I just can't separate the actor from the role.
They do it too
no
well.
matter what they do.
Yeah, they do it absolutely too well. When Rocky Balboa was fighting Clubber Lang, no, he wasn't.
Yeah, yeah. This isn't an extra long A-Team episode.
Yeah, he was fighting B.A. Baracus. I don't care what anybody says. But so structurally, that's nobody's fault, right? That he's a good actor. He gets hired for the role. That's nobody's fault but mine. So that's taking me out of the movie. Immediately telling me that we've been taking care of this person who we have no idea who they are for 40 years, taking me out of the movie. But I will say this: the opening scene, the opening surgery, is done extremely well for what they're trying to accomplish.
Yes.
Except that also, it's ridiculous that I have to consider that this was happening in this hospital and no one was aware that it was happening, even though there were actual patients around watching it happen. Taking me out of the movie again. And you could have had a really good scene there, right? And it could have been really well done. And they did like these little things to let you know that he thinks it's real, but clearly this isn't.
Right.
Not that it's not real, but this is not appropriate what we're watching here.
Right. This was not a scheduled surgery.
Right.
Just like he presents very well as a doctor, but then we see like the guy's like either suit arm or pant leg, and then a ring. So quickly they're letting us know this is weird, even though we see people watching, like it's a learning operating room, and like a theater, and we don't know who they are or why they're watching.
Right.
So everything's there to make it kind of legitimate, but at the same time give us some heads up, because we don't know that Dr. Giggles has this past. So if we're going into the movie, this is obviously Dr. Giggles, and we don't know anything about him yet, so it all makes sense.
Okay, so here's the next problem. It seemed like he was at least a little bit proficient in the surgeries that he was performing. He was certainly not great at them, but he clearly knew a lot about what he was doing. Now, I understand when he was a 7-year-old kid, he was hanging out with his dad and watching his dad do stuff. But from 8 to now, he's been in the insane asylum. Were they training him to be a doctor while he was there? Were they overfeeding him and letting him lift weights while he was there? Because he's very strong in this movie.
Yes, your assessment is accurate. They try to explain this away by having like I don't want to call him the warden. I don't think it's a jail. The head of the facility say like he is a prodigy with IQs. His IQ's off the chart. So. But that is a lot. So even if he was trained about everything when he was 7 years old, he hasn't practiced it.
No.
He hasn't used it.
Nope.
So to retain all that knowledge is wild. So yes, unless he's going to the prison library and reading books and books and books and just remembers how to cut and do all these things. But yeah, I feel like the doctor could have been like 23, and then it makes it a little more believable. But yeah, he shouldn't know how to do this.
Just like at some point, it felt like they were making an effort to take me out of the movie. Like, hey, what can we do to really screw with Paul now? He's completely detached from the movie. So what else can we do here? I don't understand. Here, let me ask it to you this way.
Okay.
Just for a moment, let's take Jennifer out of the movie. Okay.
I'm fine with that. I did not like her.
Well, that's neither here nor there. But let's take Jennifer out of the movie for just a moment. So, our Dr. Giggles has come back to town. From like 2 towns over, by the way, but he's come back to town to seek revenge because these people killed his father. Okay.
Correct.
All right, I get it. How is he choosing his targets when he gets there? Because I don't think he killed anybody that could have been remotely related to the killing of his father, except the old lady, possibly.
Well, that plays into some of the changes I want to make, but that was one of my problems. And it's understandable to an extent at first because the first 2 victims are 2 of the kids that went into the house. So I get it. He doesn't want people to know he's there. So he doesn't know what they know or don't know. So he's going to kill someone that walks into his house. Then he kills somebody that's snooping around his house. And then he goes and hunts down the 2 people that left his house. So I'm on board with all that because he's covering his tracks.
So what is that?
He
that's
killed
5.
To get out.
That's 5 people, or 4?
5 people.
Okay.
5 people, and he killed 3 to get out of the hospital.
Okay.
He only needed to kill 2, but he killed 3.
He was getting more practicing.
I get those kills, but once he walks into Jennifer's house, at this point you have to question, what is he doing? Because the only people he's killing are the people we've been introduced to.
Right.
That have nothing to do with the father's death.
No.
So this is once he walks into Jennifer's house, that's where his motivation to kill no longer makes sense to me.
So even if I'll grant you that the first couple people he killed came to him. He wasn't going to them. They came to him, and he just did what he thought he needed to do.
Right.
However, if you were going into a small town to extract revenge on the people who did you dirty, leaving 5 other bodies around is probably not the best way to stay stealthy.
Correct.
So even if the idea was like, I don't want these people knowing I'm back in town. Okay, that makes sense. So knock them out and drag them out to the curb and have them wake up from their weird dream of being in the haunted house and like, I don't know what happened. Right? Don't kill them so that now people are already starting to look your way, because that's the first place everybody seems to look, which I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense, but that's and somebody disappeared, let's check the Randall house. You know what I mean? Like you immediately put the heat on yourself for this revenge plot.
The town has a song, about the doctor that kills.
Right.
So the other thing is where you're concerned that why are you doing this? You're going to get caught when that's not your actual motive to kill here.
Right.
Is that not only does he kill these people, he takes the time to move their bodies back to the waiting room in his house. So every time he kills somebody, and it's not like he's driving around. I never saw him get into a car, so I assume this guy's walking from place to place.
Which is why I assume that the insane asylum was within a real reasonable vicinity of his neighborhood.
Well, actually, I take it back. He did have a car. He stole the guy's car at the beginning.
Right.
They just don't make it a point to continue to show us in a car. But either way, you still have to take a body out of the house you killed them in, and then bring them back to your waiting room.
Right.
And I know he had some sort of motive in doing this, but he only had the motive for needing the bodies after he was in Jennifer's house.
Right.
So up until that point, there's no reason for him to do what he's doing, because you can't continue the research and get revenge on people at the same time. You would get your revenge and then continue the research if that was his goal.
Right. So again, taking me out of the movie. The next thing that took me out of the movie, he gets back to his home, and he goes down the basement and he starts peeling away the drywall. And I'm like, okay, maybe he had hidden tools back there or whatever it might be.
Yes.
No, there is a doctor's office back there, which has been drywalled over and graffiti on that drywall. So the father gets killed, the mother gets killed, the kid goes to the insane asylum without a name tag on, so they can't figure out who he is. And I guess we try to sell the house, but that's to no success because there was a double murder there or whatever. So our next move is to get someone to hire a contractor to just put drywall over this entire section of the house. Like, I don't know if I'm a home buyer. As soon as I get down the basement, I'm going to notice that the walls are short. Like, hey, there's supposed to be another 60, 70 feet back there. What's going on?
Yeah.
And anybody else isn't invited into the house. Like, it's not a museum. You're not supposed to be there. So who was doing this drywalling and why?
And it's not only just like a singular office, where he has like a study.
It's a whole
there is
a whole setup.
A waiting room, a reception area, and several patient rooms, because there's a hallway.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a hospital.
Yeah.
With everything that they have in there. Also, what they have in there is the heart monitor, which was not invented until 1977. So when we're told when the doctor was killed, it was 1957. So I don't think anyone went out and purchased one of these things from 1977 to 1992, then got it behind the drywall and put it in the doctor's operating area, so he would be able to use that when he needed it later. And I don't think he stole one either.
Right.
So yeah.
So and we'll come back to specifics, obviously, but the next thing that took me out of this movie, the father, Jennifer's father, Tom. Yes. He's got a new girlfriend because his wife passed away. And okay, fine. That's a thing. That's fine. That happens. That's no problem there. She is a massive, I don't know how YouTube feels about some of these words, but I think you know where I'm going there. Like,
does she belong on the day of Tuesday?
She does. Well, not this Tuesday.
And we're not going to see her
Tuesday.
This one.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll see her next Tuesday.
She is beyond belief that. I understand you're a new person in a relationship and you're there to date the dad. I mean, he's not the dad. You're there to date Tom, and you want a relationship with Tom. Okay, fine, I get it. He's got a high school age daughter. There's going to be a lot of attention that needs to be paid to her no matter what you do. You can't come into this relationship with this whole let's just ignore her attitude, especially when she has like a major medical malady. Like, she is what? She might have been the least believable character in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's really saying something, considering we have a schizophrenic murderer in the movie. I believed him more than I believed her.
It was just how she was kind of like, if you do this, you'll always be chasing after her. Or it might not be that quote, but it was that attitude like, well, it doesn't matter. My daughter is drinking and she can't drink because of her heart condition.
Right.
So I won't always be doing anything because she'll be dead.
It's not a puppy. It's not a puppy. If you give in to the puppy now, he's going to poop on your floor. It's my daughter. Yeah, I'm going to take care of my daughter for like the rest of her life. That's kind of my obligation.
Yeah. But he doesn't.
No, he does not.
Because when Jennifer goes to the doctor, she goes to the doctor by herself.
She sure did.
And then she walks home.
With the telebox on her, taped on
her. After she's told not to do anything stressful or strenuous.
Right.
She walks home. And then he's just like, sorry, honey, I would have picked you up, but these numbers had to be crunched.
But, work.
And the girlfriend is just choppables.
Yeah.
Like, she should get her ass out there. Mm-hmm. Whether she likes her or not, she doesn't want her dead.
I'm still going to do my friend a favor.
Want her dead.
Yeah.
And then this is not the only time that this girl is walking all over town. Later, she walks to and from the carnival after a stressful situation.
Yeah.
This I know it's not like you can just call an Uber back then.
No.
But
they had cabs.
You can get somebody.
Yeah. For the life of me, when we watch these movies, I always take certain things into account, and one of the things I take into account is like the budget. Like,
yes.
I get it. If you're making this movie for $100,000, you're going to have a tough time even accumulating the crew that can do a good job, let alone the special effects and all that sort of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
This was a major investment by a major studio to make a major movie. And it's beyond me how they could not even piece together a coherent script for something that could have been it's such a simple concept. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can take a simple concept and execute it perfectly.
Right.
It's such a simple concept that you don't hardly need to keep track of anything. All we got to do is get the doctor back to town and get him to kill the people who he saw kill his father when he was younger. And that's it. And the ways in which they swerved around that were just awe-inspiring. Oh, and also they did kill the black people first, which is an obligation. Once we started the actual hunt, the first people that had to go were the black people. So we're still in the early 90s, just in case you forgot.
Yeah, it's always what happens.
Side question.
Yes.
Something I noticed, and we don't have to delve too deep into this. I myself, I don't fancy myself a ladies' man, but I've had my times in life. Have you ever gone into the bathroom to put the condom on?
So yeah, I made notes somewhere on that. Like, that is not how this works.
No.
And
no.
Yeah. Now I've gone into public bathrooms in the middle of Hickstown, USA, and found used condoms on the floor and wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible.
Sure.
So condoms can be in bathrooms. It's not the point we're going to debate.
Yeah. But that's usually where you end up, not where you start out.
Yes. This is not the girl going, oh, I'm going to go change for you.
Right.
Even though that is what was happening in the other room.
Yeah.
And do you remember what she is changing into?
Fishnets and black lingerie.
Yes, but do you know where they're from?
I don't, but I should, I suppose.
Stu's mother. He pulls them out of his drawer and he goes, I swiped this from my mom's suitcase before my mom and dad went on the cruise. And then she goes, you expect me to wear this? Which is the right reaction to this situation.
It sure is.
And his excuse was, Well, my mom's got to be really mad or pissed off right now, not to mention my dad. So don't let their pain be in vain. That was enough to sway her to fulfill his weird kink. And that's where the condom comes in. Okay, but if I'm dressing up, so are you. And I don't know, like, you have to be in a certain state for the condom to work, essentially.
This is exactly where my thought process was. Yes, you have to be at full mast, and then you have to remain at full mast while you walk back, and then remain at full mast while any pre-engagement is happening. Like, he's not gonna. I'm assuming, I don't know. They're high school kids, so they may not have any sort of savoir-faire, or they may not have any fucking skills. There we go. That will work better than the French I wanted to try to throw in there. He's gonna walk out of the bathroom and just springboard right into her. Like, that's the only option.
Like, that's the only thing that they're going to do. And to go back to the troublesome part of having to be at full mast for the condom to, do its job properly.
Right.
That's assuming he's still gonna be that way after he's fished it out of the toilet with his toothbrush.
Right.
Not someone else's toothbrush, his toothbrush. So now I'm concerned that he's sexually aroused after playing around a toilet and wants his girlfriend to wear his mother's lingerie. So Stu is a weird guy, if we couldn't tell that just by looking at him.
Yeah, this is, again, someone wrote that script.
Yes.
And at least one other someone looked at it and was like, crowd's gonna love this. We're gonna insinuate that he's got a serious Oedipal problem, and they're just gonna love this. No, they were not. No, they were not.
Yeah.
At any point in time ever, no.
No, because you just wind up going, what is going on? Like, you don't have to do it. It doesn't come into play later where the mother's looking for it, or the father's upset because it's not there, and then they do something they wouldn't do. It doesn't impact anything. She could have just had, I've been saving this for you.
That would have worked.
Yeah.
You know what? Even if they wanted to go down this road that they went down, right? They could have made it work without just by not focusing on it. Have the kids have their thing, and then somewhere down the line, the mom goes, and I still can't find that black lingerie, and you go, oh, he stole it from his mom. Like it could have been so nice and simple, instead of like, I need you to stop and consider the fact that this is my mother's lingerie that she packed to go on vacation with my father so they can have sex together. But instead, I'd rather you wear my mother's clothing during this spirited event that we're about to get into. Let me go in the bathroom and wrap up, and I'll be right back.
And please call me daddy.
Might as well. I did a little digging, and because something caught my eye that I guess in '92 wouldn't have caught my eye, and that this was a Dark Horse production. And so my first thought was, is this the Dark Horse comics? Like, is there a Dr. Giggles comic? And there's not a Dr. Giggles comic as far as I know, but it is the Dark Horse comics. They signed some kind of deal where they got to look at some scripts and get them produced. The guy who wrote the movie originally, this name is wild to me, but Graeme Whiffler or something along those lines, or Graham Whiffler. He very vehemently says that this is not the movie that he wrote. This is not even close, to the point where he made a movie in 2005. I had it here, but hold on, give me 1 second. I'll tell you what it is. Neighborhood Watch. It's also got another name.
Oh, okay.
But he made a movie in 2005
that
called
has
Neighborhood Watch. I don't think it's what you think it is.
Oh yeah, no. Okay.
I think you're thinking of The Watch.
I'm thinking of The Watch. Yeah.
But he says that that's actually what this movie was supposed to be. He was Mr. Giggles when he wrote it, not a doctor, and it was just very different and a lot darker, which I get. I get the problems with that, and I am interested in watching that other movie. But that the underpinning idea of that guy turned the script in, and while they were going, they started screwing with it in major important ways. Now, then I start to understand, okay, this is how this movie falls apart, is you get into this situation where perhaps the director or the studio thinks they know better than the writer that they bought the story from, and they're going to tweak it to make it great. And I never understand that concept at all. There's a deli in near me called Carmen's, and in the past it would always be like top 5 sandwiches in New Jersey is Carmen's is always on the list. And then the people who owned it got old and sold, and they sold it to this guy, and he bought it, and the first thing he did was start screwing with the recipes. Like,
yeah.
Why did you buy something that was going to be successful and then just screw with it as if you had any more expertise than the people who had put it together in the first place? And this is the same. Like, I understand if a studio steps in and says, hey, look, you got to do something. This is going to be X-rated if we keep it this way, and we can't have that because we can't distribute. Okay, that I understand quality control on that level. But to come in and say, no, he should be a doctor. No, he should be like a real sarcastic, funny kind of doctor. Like his 40 years in the insane asylum, he really developed a sharp sense of humor. So we should really get that out there and focus on it. Let's focus on how hilarious Dr. Giggles is. Not just that he chuckles when he kills you, but he also says something punny and related to the environment. Isn't that fun?
I can't wait. And that makes a lot of sense. Because one, if we look at the movie trailer that we got, we have a serious take. Yeah. Instead of, it escalates, but still, so they may have done some scenes where he plays it more straight laced as opposed to, to off kilter, and then use that whether it was better or not, and went, see, this one's funnier. And the other thing is, it's Dr. Giggles, but he laughs through his pain. Like, he's not always laughing because things are funny. His mom dies and he laughs. He gets shot and he laughs. Yeah. So if that aspect is in this, that doesn't seem consistent with the other types of things that they're giving us. So that makes a lot more sense that it's Mr. Giggles and he's killing people and he's hurt, he's trying to cope with his demons, and the laughter is the nervous side effect or the result of that.
It's the trauma response.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So overall, I just did not care for this movie on the macro level, and on the micro level, it just gets worse and worse. And I know, and we say this probably every week, but I know we're there to pick on the movie in the first place, usually. But maybe don't make it so easy to be picked on. Maybe don't be terrible. There's bad movies and there's terrible movies, and this is a terrible movie. There's thought processes behind this movie that my 15-year-old son looks at and goes, that's just dumb. There's whole scenes in this movie that either didn't make sense, didn't need to be in the movie at all, or both. Some of them were both. There's the last scene when he comes in to do the surgery. He's already been burnt, so half of his face is blistered to shit, and he's carrying a 1943 surgery bag with him. And he walks in and says, "I'm her doctor. I'll do the surgery." And the other doctor just kind of like concedes, like as if that's the way this would ever happen, as if she would be prepped for surgery and in the room, and then some other doctor that we're not familiar with would, I got it from here, boys, don't worry about it. And then you step aside and go, sure, guy with a half burnt face, you're obviously her doctor, let me move.
I'll grab my lunch now, as I intended to do.
Just so far off the illogical bus that it just... I didn't like this movie. That's kind of what I'm getting at here.
And I will say, like, everything you're saying makes sense. You are right with 100% of every observation you've made, and your feelings are just. As much as I don't like this movie, I still like this movie. And I think it's just because I watched it when I was younger. Okay. And it's, so that's the only logical explanation for me. But yes, this is a terrible movie. It's just something I'm able to raise my pain threshold on, I guess is the way to say it, to where I can still find some enjoyment. But yes, it is a bad movie. I hate movies that look like this, which where I was kind of going before, it felt like it was made for TV.
Right.
I don't enjoy that look. It's just I enjoy that a little bit more than I don't enjoy the blue tint gradient over films. So yeah, there's a lot in this that I do not enjoy, and at the end of the movie, my score is still going to be higher than it should be for a reason I cannot explain.
For like a nostalgic reason.
Yeah, that's the only rational outcome I can come to as why I'm not as like, well, that was, crap, and I'll never look at that again. Where, because that's how it deserves to be treated, honestly.
I don't. I definitely watched this before. Like, this isn't my first time, and I definitely watched it probably in the 90s. I would assume, in my case, probably on HBO or something like that. I for sure watched this movie. I have no attachment to it whatsoever. There is no nostalgia in it for me whatsoever.
You shouldn't.
It is so much worse than I remembered it being. Like, it's so much worse.
That is with a lot of movies I see, no matter what genre. If I had a strong attachment to the movie when I was younger and I haven't watched it in 20 years and I watch it again, I'm like, oh, why did I like this? What
was the other thing that was happening in the room at the time I was watching this movie that makes me think I enjoyed it? Because it sure wasn't this.
No.
So, of all these things that I'm picking on, I noticed in your notes that one of your sticking points here. So initially there's the police are called to the haunted house to look around, and it's the standard issue old grizzled veteran cop and young rookie cop going to look around, and the old cop knows more than he wants to say, and the young cop wants to be more of a cop than the old guy wants to be a cop. And so while they're perusing the area, young cop comes across a piece of fabric that catches his eye, and like any responsible cop would do, he grabs that piece of evidence with his bare hand and then puts it in his pocket and takes it with him and never discusses it with anyone else except for a kid who's there being held waiting for his parents. But you didn't like this fabric and the use of it at all.
Oh, well, I mean, technically I loved it because it is so absolutely ridiculous that no movie with a budget should experience this. I actually submitted this to IMDb with the explanation I'm going to do, because I believe I've noticed something that nobody else has made public before. I actually submitted this to IMDb because somebody did mention the error, but not the logic behind the error. And the logic behind the error makes the error so much worse. So like you said, Officer Joe takes the piece of fabric, and it's this like washed white font on it. It's hard to read, but you can kind of see a W and an O, and it's difficult. We weren't meant to really see everything at that point in time.
Right.
And the other officer, Hank, I think is his name, the one in the 49ers starter cap, for some reason, he's not aware of this. And then it doesn't come up until later, until the boyfriend Max is at the station, like you said, and they're talking about, oh, how are we going to find all this stuff out? How are we going to solve this? And then he's like, yeah, I have the fabric. And then he puts the fabric down, and now the fabric font is completely different. This is somebody that took a Sharpie to it and they wrote AWOOD. And then on the left where the A is, the fabric's torn. So we can assume that part of a word was there.
Right.
And we don't know what the rest of the word is.
Right.
However, the letters underneath the A would line say OSP. The O is aligned with the A to show that also there was a word before the OSP. The problem is there's plenty of fabric to the right of OSP. So what happened here is they had a prop. The prop had to have gone missing. Somebody's job was to recreate the prop, and they probably tasked that down the line with instructions. I need a piece of fabric that says A wood, and then on the next line, OSP, without any understanding that it was supposed to say Tara Wood Hospital. So that is how we get a nonsensical prop that would never have existed in this movie unless the person was tasked with handwriting the name of the facility on all of the patient's garments and died halfway through writing hospital, and they just went with it.
So I will not excuse anything that happens in this movie, but I'll throw out a couple things for you.
Okay.
First one is that it's possible that the cop who took the evidence and kept it for himself, like any good cop might do, was tracing over what he saw on the fabric to try to be able to see it better. That would,
it is possible, but not probable based on the font.
I understand.
So, yes.
Understood. But that would at least cover turning the white fabric into the black fabric. Or the
letters.
Yeah.
Yes.
However, I like that you gave them credit. I'd like to take that credit away. I believe they forgot about that prop. And then somebody just said, what about the shirt thing? We could work that in there. And now somebody else said, what shirt? Oh, the shirt thing. Because once again, it has no value in this movie. All that shirt helped him do was confirm who the killer was, which is irrelevant while the killer is killing in your town, right? It doesn't matter what his name is or if you can if you can identify him while he's killing. So, yet again, a completely botched thing that could have actually been kind of cool if it played out right, that had no value in the movie at all, and they still fucked it up. There was no stakes for getting that right because it didn't matter at all. They still screwed it up.
It does send Officer Joe to the house. That is when Officer Joe decides to go there. But the other officer already knows that Dr. Giggles is still alive. So just like you're saying, we're not really confirming anything we didn't already know.
Right.
They already got a call about that house. So either Dr. Giggles is back or someone is using the legend of Dr. Giggles because the town has a nursery rhyme about how the doctor kills. So somebody is pretending to be a doctor and kill people. Well, either way,
somebody's pretending to be a doctor.
Yes, that is the house that you need to stake out.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Magruder already knows that he's there. There's a scene where Jennifer's in the house and she's about to get attacked and she's running out of the house and the cops run her over, right? The cops run her over and she explains the doctor, blah, 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 blah. The one cop, Magruder, sees him walk in there.
Yeah. Now, you see someone. Yeah.
Right. Now, he doesn't necessarily know that it's Dr. Rendell because he hasn't seen him in 40 years. But he definitely knows there was someone in a white coat that walked into that grounds, and they did not pursue that whatsoever. And he continued, Magruder, after that, to pretend like it wasn't real. Like, he continued to pretend that it was still a legend. Like, all right, so maybe it is a legend. Maybe it is, a tall tale from your youth. You're still seeing it play out in reality right now, no matter what. Yes. And you still saw a person walk into that house that no one should be walking into. It doesn't matter who that person could have been the president of the United States. You still got to go in there and go, hey, what are you doing going into this house?
Yeah.
Nope, nothing.
Nope.
He was lit up by the headlights of their car. That's how we could see who it was. It was the headlights from the cop car that were shining on him while he walked back there. And they're just like, yeah, I don't see nothing. We got to go back to the station.
And how many days did this movie take I mean, what's our time frame from start to finish for Dr. Giggles escaping? It's at least a night, right?
Oh,
If not,
I was gonna say like 3 nights, maybe
okay.
72 hours.
Okay, so 72 hours. You have an escaped mental patient that's killed 3 staff members and stolen their car.
Right.
It doesn't matter that you don't know who he is.
No, it's irrelevant.
Because you know what car's missing.
Right.
So within that time frame, somebody has to see this car.
Yeah.
So even then, the cops should already be in more high. They might not know who they're looking for necessarily, until they, get the file or whatever. But they know that someone is here, and if they're getting calls from the house and see someone walking around the house that shouldn't be there, hey, maybe this is our guy. And we never know what happened to the kid. Maybe this is our guy and the kid.
That bugs me so deeply. But once again, yet again, you didn't need the car scene at all. And all it stood to do was detract from the movie. You didn't need to explain to me how he got back to town. In fact, if you didn't explain it, it probably makes it more interesting. But what it doesn't do is leave you with gigantic trails of evidence. They know whose car it was. They know they know all of that person's information because that person worked for the insane asylum. They have so much data and so much information, and they are taking no action in any conceivable way to shut this down. And it is friggin' baffling. It's got to be at least 2 nights, right? Because the first night they're in the haunted house, and that's when Dougie Doug and his girlfriend get killed in the most preposterous way possible.
Yeah.
And then there's the night with the carnival. So that's got to be at least 2 nights. So at least 48 hours he's on the loose, not counting however long it took for him to break out of the asylum with an audience, break out of the asylum, steal the car, and get to where he wanted to go, which couldn't have been that far because the 1992 police computer, when he brought up the local towns, that was one of the local towns.
Yeah.
So,
and this is California, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's Montana or, even Colorado. You can drive someplace like, Colorado where there's a town, but there's no other town for an hour.
Right.
Unless you're counting 5 houses.
And they still consider that the local town, but yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, right. So it's possible it can be a couple hour drive. That's not out of the realm of possibility. But to answer our question, knowing that with what you said, we can't be more than 3 nights in.
Right. We can't
and
be more than 3 nights in. And that's
plenty of time to find a car that's been stolen because 3 people have been killed.
That's plenty of time to have a news report that says there's a killer on the loose and have the rest of the town act appropriately. Like, for example, we're going to have to delay the carnival until we figure out what's going on with this serial killer or whomever that just escaped from the insane asylum with 3 bodies on his hands. We're not going to have a carnival right now, guys. I hope you understand.
Well, just if we go back to the Prowler, remember they're having their little get together, their part, their celebration, and it's a killer is on the loose. So, I mean, this is the type of stuff that happens.
It does.
So, like, that town should be on alert. Hey, it's been 3 days. There's an escaped mental patient. We don't know where they are, but he could be here, and he's considered very dangerous. Like, they should be more aware. There should be a higher police presence at the carnival because of it. The mayor should be like, no, we're having the carnival. We can't afford to lose the money type of thing.
The Jaws.
Because citizens don't want to have it. Yeah.
Right.
So, all of these things should be happening, and none of it is. It's like nobody cares because it hasn't impacted them yet, I guess.
I guess, but like, he didn't just escape, which there can be a window of time where he escapes and no one catches on to the fact that he escapes until maybe 4 hours. But let's say he escapes at 1 a.m., right? And he just leaves. So it may be until wake up before anybody realizes, hey, he's not in his room. So 6-7 hours you have. He slaughtered people on the way out.
Yes.
There was instant response to everything he did. There.
Yeah.
How did adults get in a room and come up with this?
Well, it sounded like there was an adult that came up with this, and several other adults fucked it up.
A bunch of people with markers were like, never mind that part. That's not going to do us any service. All right. So, I mean, we can get into the part that we like to get into, which is the graphic gore. Probably some of the funniest stuff that happened in the movie. And again, the movie starts out with the surgery scene where he's cutting into... do you think that person on the table was one of the doctors at the mental hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Dr. Phillips.
So...
Now, and we only know that because people have, cataloged it. It's not like, oh, no, we do. The nurse calls him Dr. Phillips. Yeah, but so many times people have names that are never said in these movies.
So, in a reasonable amount of time, this Dr. Giggles kidnapped Dr. Phillips, put him on a table, set up a surgical suite, because I'm going to assume that the insane asylum doesn't regularly do surgeries. Like that's not not within their purview.
Be there.
So he had to set up this suite. Just happened to have the kind of suite that, like, when surgeries happen in a teaching hospital where everybody can stand around and watch them happen. They just happen to have that room for him. All the technology, get the doctor, lay him out. I'm assuming at least a little bit he had to euthanize, and anesthetize him a little bit and get started with this surgery before anybody noticed what was happening at all. But the surgery itself, as I said, and as you said too, it was filmed in a really cool way to start out like we're watching a doctor do surgery and then slowly kind of melt that illusion away till we realize that it is a psychopath getting ready to kill a doctor and cut his heart out. At this time, we don't necessarily know why he's targeting the... Ooh, that just tripped a whole bunch of other shit for me. We don't know why he was targeting the heart necessarily, but that's clearly what he's doing here.
Yes. And I did really like the transition. We get some really terrible graphics for, considering the time we live in now. But back then, I'm sure this was fine.
No.
It reminded me of Body Wars. No, if you ever went on that ride in Epcot.
It was not fine.
Yeah, well, for what they're doing.
Those blood cells at the beginning were not fine. I noted them on my own. Like, this is not early 90s CGI was not great, but it was not this. No. When did Lawnmower Man come out?
I want to say 93, but I could be wrong.
Okay, so that's a year away from being that much better.
Yeah. We do get the cutting of the heart, and we transition from those blood cells, going through the body out through the heart. And I thought that was at least an attempt to do something clever or something a little more unique.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. So far, so good. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like that's it. That's the end of the movie right there. If they had rolled the credits after that, this would be a very different show.
I don't know. Lawnmower Man was 87.
I got it as 92.
Oh wait, no, 92. Never mind.
Yeah.
Two of them came up when I just punched it in.
Okay.
I don't know why. So I just saw the first one that came up, and then I saw the other. Yeah.
Yeah. It was 90. It was also 92.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Lawnmower Man is like a beacon of graphics at the time, but the difference between that little opening scene in Dr. Giggles and the entirety of Lawnmower Man is tangible.
Yeah.
And they didn't, Lawnmower Man had to invest the whole movie's budget into that, whereas Dr. Giggles is just doing it as an opening scene. You could have done better. You could have done, but they didn't want to. They had no interest in doing better.
What also pissed me off during the opening scene is I hate this shit. The movie is Dr. Giggles. Just tell us it's Dr. Giggles. I don't need one letter at a time like we're playing the Wheel of Fortune. It just give it to us, because it's not like Death Spa, where the letters go out and now we see the name of the movie. So yeah, that's fine because there's a purpose behind it.
Right.
Dr. Giggles is Dr. Giggles no matter what letter you give to us first and what letter you give to us last. It's the same name.
It was on the box when I
Yeah.
rented the movie.
Yeah.
Once you showed me the G, I knew where we were headed.
Yeah.
This could be anyone. This could be Dr. Gerard. We don't know what's happening here.
Oh, come on. Damn it.
So once he commits this murder, he's now ready to leave. And he goes, he cuts off the doctor's arms.
Yes.
And then goes to rub a nurse. I'm assuming they had a pre-existing relationship, but that's not, I guess, not really relevant. But he takes Dr. Phillips' arms and hands and starts giving this nurse a massage.
Yeah.
And the tone of this movie instantly changed for the worse at that point.
Because it's not like she went, what's that? If you're giving someone a shoulder massage, you need to use your fingers.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not just your hands.
Just palms sliding up
Yes.
and down.
And I don't know how quickly heat leaves the human body. But I imagine if it's a severed arm, the heat's going to leave pretty quickly. So
Sure.
Those hands should be more on the colder side than on the warmer side.
Yeah, I mean,
So somebody comes up behind you to give you a massage with their palms and fingertips, and their hands are cold, you're not going to be into it. And the only reason she knows it's the doctor is they make it a point to show that the doctor was wearing a ring.
yeah, like a ring, yeah.
And then we see that ring. Now, it makes it the proper thing to do here would have been for Dr. Giggles to put on the ring. Right. If he knows that this nurse and the doctor have a pre-existing relationship, then that is the way to go, instead of giving us this weirdness.
Yeah. And to make matters worse, like, it looks horrible cinematically.
Yeah.
They are not that they wouldn't be, but they're blatantly rubber hands. Like, they put no effort.
Yeah.
That scene could have been shot from like an angle, and you could have had actual arms, you know what I mean, in there.
Yes.
Because they didn't do anything graphically with the arms at that point. They're just there as a prop for him to rub the nurse with. You could have shot that a million different ways that would have been real looking hands if you were going down this route, and they opted to just take rubber hands off of a local mannequin and put them in there. And then we get our he should have kept his hands to himself.
Yep. Yeah, we start getting our lines. There were some other lines with the last one. You win some, you lose some. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to experience the cutting edge of medicine before he takes a saw to him.
He takes a saw, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and like, who? I know the lines are for us. We're the audience.
Right.
But let's just pretend in movies people don't know there's an audience.
Right. He's not breaking the fourth wall.
Yes. Once you create a movie in some parallel universe, it's now real. So who are these lines for? Is he just entertaining himself?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. He's
yeah.
I am not excusing any of this. He's schizophrenic. He's entertaining his many personalities.
Yeah, one's telling a joke to the other, and
and while the third guy's killing people. Also, again, his plan was to escape the mental asylum and get revenge. Didn't need to kill the nurse. Nurse wasn't in the way in any way, shape, or form. Nurse was in an office on the side. Could have just left.
Could have left. Or have him remove a key or push a button. Like, once she's out of the way, now he pushes a button on her desk and the door opens.
Yeah.
But even then, you're not going to fuck around and do a fake shoulder massage because her back is to you. You can kill her at any time.
Listen,
you don't need to go through this ruse to kill her when she doesn't even know someone's going to kill her.
Right. And on top of that, why doesn't she know that someone's going to kill her? Like,
Yeah, because the alarms are going off,
the
right?
alarms are going off. We have established that Dr. Giggles has killed Dr. Phillips. Other staff have seen this now happening.
Yeah.
Why are we sitting with our back to the door, just humming along, doing our little bit of paperwork for the end of the night before you get off your shift?
And like, this is 1992. They have to have security cameras, right? Or at least
cameras,
some
sirens, a PA system where somebody goes, "There's a killer on the loose. Everyone, please keep an eye out."
The doctor also let all the patients out. So not only, so all these patients are roaming the hall. Security guards should have found this before the doctors and the orderlies did.
Yeah. No. So he gets out of the building, and he didn't need this guy's key card, right? Like the guy wasn't inside the gate when he stole his key card.
No. He used the key card. He could have just stood by the gate.
Yeah.
He didn't need to kill it. Right.
No.
The key card is needed to open the gate to leave the facility.
Right. But the car was already outside the facility to begin with.
No, it was still inside.
Oh, I thought he was getting there. He was leaving?
He was leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, so then that's another thing then. Why was he leaving?
Because he's now on his way to more high.
No. The guy in the car.
Oh, my guess is his shift was over. So it's just purely coincidental that he's leaving at the exact time Dr. Giggles needs to leave the facility.
Or more importantly, it's purely coincidental that he's leaving at the exact time someone got murdered, all the alarms are going off, everyone is in a hot panic, and he's just cruising out of the lot like no big deal, nothing's happening here.
That's for the midnight
exhausting.
shift. And we know what Dr. Giggles is capable of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So even though they don't know who he is, I assume they also know what he is capable of.
They should.
So if you have someone like that at your facility, I can only imagine you'll have several other people like that at your facility.
Right.
And the way in and out is a key card and a gate that slowly opens and closes. You need to have security guards and checkpoints to come in and out of a place like this that is housing people that are capable of doing great harm.
Yes. Yeah. You would think.
Yes.
But that's our problem. That's the mistake that we make in most of these movies is we think. He steals the key card from him, steals the car from him, slits his throat. This scene, if you don't put any context to it besides it's a murder, is a decent scene. The murder's good. It's clean. It makes sense. He takes the key card. Again, another punny.
This isn't even medical.
No.
Well, this is a hotel.
Yeah. It's more hotel. You're right. It's more hotel than medical. It's checkout time.
Yes, it would be discharge time.
Right.
But he's saying checkout time. Yeah. So
he said, well, because he was never a doctor.
No.
Lest we forget.
Give her these and these and these. Thank you, doctor. Not a doctor.
So that guy's dead. So we got three. So this is our point. We have 3 bodies and a stolen car. And we know who the stolen car belonged to because that body was presumably left right there at the gate.
It was not.
He took the body with him?
He took the body with him.
Okay.
We see the body in the waiting room.
All right.
Yes, but yes. I mean, why would you take the body with you?
No idea.
Yeah, so maybe so maybe that's it. Maybe there's going to be a little time, unless this man lives alone. I would expect that his family would be expecting him home, and when he doesn't come home, a call's going to be made to work. The work's going to go, hey, shit got crazy here, and now they're going to feel for this person's life. So now the APB is going to go out for the car. So okay, so maybe they're 24 hours behind figuring out that this guy is dead. But still,
That guy.
that's going to
But we
give
still
us...
know Dr. Phillips is dead.
Yes.
We still know the
As
killer
far as
escaped.
looking for the car.
Yeah.
So the police don't know to look for the car, maybe for 12 to 24 hours.
See, now,
but there's
what I'm
still
saying
time.
is that guy left in a panic.
Yes.
And so they know that he left. They have to know that he left. They have to know that, like, okay, this murder happened at midnight, let's just say. And here's the list of people that were in the building and at that time, who should have been in the building at that time. And this guy's name is going to be on the list, and he's going to be unaccounted for. So I grant you, maybe it creates a little bit bigger window of time, but you're still left with 2 people dead, escaped from an asylum, and the local towns are just like, yeah, that's the thing that happens, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, we got the kids being kids. It's summer, school's out, all that shenanigans. I appreciate that they did not play the Alice Cooper song like every other friggin' movie at that time would have played. And the first thing that they're going to do on summer vacation is they're going to go and see if they can spend some time at the haunted house. I never understood the appeal of this concept.
No.
I'm all for checking out unfamiliar terrain and things like that, but the whole let's spend the evening in this haunted house, why? What we have 2 possible outcomes. It's not really haunted, which is the most likely outcome, or it is and you're dead. There's no upside to spending the night in a haunted house at all.
No.
And there's no stakes, there's no nothing. So
your rich uncle isn't going to give you $1 million if you're able to make it the whole night.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
So we got the group. They're in the house, and 2 of the friends, Stu and Diane, think it would be funny if they trapped 2 of the other friends in one of the inner rooms of this weirdly laid out, inexplicably laid out house. I'd love to see the blueprints for this house.
Well, that's just it. It's not a real house. They built this house so they could blow it up. So that's why it doesn't really look like it should necessarily, because it was just a prop to blow up.
So this makes it worse again, because now you're getting to build this house from scratch. So you can call the shots on every last piece of this house, and you still made this catastrophic layout of a house. So two friends, Stu and Diane, they trap Trotter and Lee in the house thinking it'll be all funny and whatnot. And they leave. Like that's standard prank stuff. Lock them in and then just walk away. Just leave them there to suffer in their own urine-soaked pants. And
if they're lucky. And
they hear some noise outside the door, so they think, maybe it's their friends come back to release the joke, and they peek through the little keyhole, and to set up the next part of what's going to happen, he pretends like he got his eye poked, and freaks out his girlfriend. Actually, she's not necessarily his girlfriend, but he's trying to have that happen.
Right.
This is dumb, but I get it. We're setting up the next thing. So now he backs up against the door, and a massive needle comes through the door and injects him. And, so she's already desensitized to it because he did the whole fake eye thing. And now, he's just playing some more jokes until he pukes and blood comes out of his mouth. And then we know he's dead. And he's dead, so she's panicked, which, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, hopefully.
And Dr. Giggles comes in the room, and she makes no attempt to escape whatsoever. Her boyfriend, whatever, just died, blood in the mouth, and a stranger is standing at the door with that massive needle in his hand, and she made like zero attempt to leave. But we got another excellent Dr. Giggles joke. I'm not really seeing patients yet, but I guess I can make an exception. Waka waka. Maybe that's what this movie should be. Maybe if we can CGI out Dr. Giggles and CGI in Fozzie, we might have something.
Yes, because a lot of it is the tone.
Yeah.
So if Fozzie's saying this, I'm probably laughing.
He can play a little piano in between the different parts. It'll be a whole thing.
Or maybe we should have been throwing tomatoes at Dr. Giggles to get him
go.
to stop the lines.
From the balcony.
Yeah.
So he's coming towards Lee. He's got to refill this massive syringe. And again, she makes no attempt to escape. And so he injects her with the same stuff we assume that he put into Trotter, and she's dead now.
Yes, she is.
And that's that. Like that's it. Our black contingent has been executed, as is tradition at this time of horror filmmaking. So we move on to the nosy neighbor, who also existed in like every 90s horror movie, pretty much, right? There was always the cranky old nosy neighbor who probably should have known more than she does, but didn't, even though she's the nosy neighbor.
This type of person walked so Karens could run, is really what this comes down to.
I like it.
Yeah.
So she takes a pill that she didn't realize, because why would you? She didn't realize that it was poison, and it kind of like roofied her. Like he kind of got her frozen but still awake, and then shoves and then the scope up her nose to, I guess puncture her brain and kill her.
Yeah.
This was a decent scene.
As
far as the kill
I
goes.
enjoyed this.
It was decent until the scope got all the way in. Then it looked a little too plasticky for me. But up until that point, it was a pretty decent scene. Except that it brings me back to, and this could just be a lacking piece of the plot, but why was he in her house?
He would have been in her house, and this is just the assumption I'm making based on who he's killed so far.
That's fine.
She called the cops on him.
Okay.
And she hears Lee or Leia, Lee I think her name is, scream, and she lives nearby. On Trivoli Court, because they make it a point to show us the street sign when it doesn't matter at all, but it matters because they showed it to us. So she lives close enough to Dr. Giggles to have heard the scream and goes over to check it out and then calls the police. And from the cops' reaction that we get later, she does this stuff all the time. So they're not, just like they didn't take Trotter's death too seriously at first because he just, cried wolf. She's always calling the police for this and that.
Right. Very, very desensitized to her calls. Right. She's the boy who cried wolf.
And she saw that someone was in there. When she looked through the peephole, she saw the eye. So now she can place someone inside of that house. So he has to go and kill her.
Right. Now, we get our Dr. Giggles pun here is, it's a good thing I make house calls.
Yeah.
Who is it a good thing for? Because she's dead. So it wasn't a good thing for her.
No, it was not.
They did at least do me the courtesy of not killing the dog. Some horror movies would kill the dog. They let the dog go. I kind of appreciate it.
Right. And especially because it wouldn't make sense. There are times where it might be part of the story and it's needed. But this was not. The dog, when the dog runs outside, though, it's daytime, even though it's night. So there's that. The dog may have just taken a long time to get out of the house. Now, there was something that drove me crazy about this, and this is just because I'm me. She puts the pill down on her bathroom counter. I've never put anything on the counter of my bathroom that I plan on putting in my mouth. I'm just never, ever going to do it. And when she puts her water down, she puts her water down like half off of the sink. So now we have a balancing glass water cup in the bathroom with a pill on your dirty ass sink. And I was like, okay, no, that just, I wouldn't do that personally. Then I'm sure as shit gonna know that my pills just changed color on me. but she doesn't see that either. But it did get me thinking because the red pill was now blue. This movie was made in 1992. If we take into account when Neo is, like running at the beginning of the Matrix, it's 1999. So, is this tied to the Matrix in any way?
Yeah, this totally takes place in the Matrix universe. Absolutely.
Well, I don't think it can be, because if we were under, to make sure we're happy and stay under, there's no way they'd show us this movie.
Oh, you might be on to something there.
So we can be assured that we are living our own reality based on that.
Also, can we take just a brief moment to celebrate the technological leaps in filming in that 7-year window from this to the Matrix is actually mind-boggling if you think about it. So
real quick, I just want to mention, I love the camera angles we got with the tongue depressor, where they shot from inside Elaine's mouth. If you remember how I was disappointed in the Invisible Maniac when the guy was choking on the sandwich, this is what I wanted. I wanted that shot with the sandwich being forced down his mouth, and that scene would have been so much better.
Yeah. Yes, it would have. But that would have taken some consideration.
Yes.
So then we get our flashback, and it's a pretty long flashback, and we wipe out a bunch of people with this flashback. And basically what we learn is that the original doctor, I shouldn't say original because Dr. Giggles isn't a doctor.
Right.
What Dr. Rendell was doing was his wife had a heart condition, and he was harvesting hearts in the hopes that he could fix her.
Correct.
This does not make sense. This is not the method by which you do this. You don't find heart. It's not a Goldilocks situation where you keep putting hearts in until you find the one that fits just right. But here we are.
Yeah, and they sort of set us up for that with the quote at the beginning: for extreme illnesses, extreme treatments are most fitting. So we just have to accept that this is an extreme treatment. Although, yes, it does not make sense. It gives me like was it Mr. Freeze vibes, where like he's only evil because he's trying to save his wife.
Right.
So yeah.
So and we're kind of getting this flashback through Officer Joe's eyes, right? Like he's kind of telling the story of the flashback.
Yes.
And he does explain that the kid, who we completely anonymous kid, was being kind of luring the patients in, helping Dad out. And then we also saw a scene where the kid was like dissecting all of his stuffed animals and removing their hearts, their heart, the fur, the fuzz that would be there. So
while the mother was still alive, so it was kind of like happy times, although something was wrong with him.
Right.
Now, during that flashback, we do get a bit of jarring nudity from a corpse.
Yes.
Which, in a movie where you have, teenagers having sex or about to have sex, and you don't have it beforehand, it's especially jarring when the first time you have it is full-on corpse nudity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no body shaming here, but a very misshapen corpse. We could have gotten a better looking corpse. It would have still been as jarring, but maybe, not as lasting.
It looked like it was made from wax. Like it. So, yeah.
It's a big jello mold of a body.
And the kid was part of the thing. They don't know what happened to the kid. Some assumed he was dead. Some assumed he escaped. We have no idea. The kid got out of the house because Dr. Rendell sewed him up in the corpse of his mother. And then the kid sat there the whole time and started giggling inside till they cut his way out.
I can't tell you how stupid that entire idea is, and the execution of it on screen was just worse. But the execution of it on screen was really like Jennifer's sort of panic nightmare, right? Like that wasn't the actual thing. But
no, that wasn't Jennifer's nightmare. That was the retelling from Officer Harper.
Oh, that's worse. Yeah, that's definitely
yes.
Worse.
Jennifer does have a nightmare. That is what happens later.
Okay.
But that's why Officer Harper was left at the station while everybody else was out doing stuff, and he's drinking at his desk. Right. He hears the kid giggle. He goes downstairs and he sees a scalpel come up, and the kid cuts himself out of his mother. And like, how does he even like? He's got oxygen tanks in there, like a tube in his mouth going up to the mom's trachea and out her mouth. Like, how is he getting oxygen? He's not on Hoth. He doesn't need her body for warmth. And the time it would have taken the father to do this after killing all those people, knowing that the police are there, like, none of it makes sense.
Okay.
And they're going to be like, hey, why is this dead body sewn back together? Do you think we should cut her up? No, let's not. Let's not do that. No autopsy.
I want you to stop for 1 second.
Yeah.
I want you to stop for 1 second.
Oh, okay.
I want you to take all of this completely logical, completely cogent thought out of this. Take it all out.
Okay.
And I want you to ask you this. Let's say you're a cop.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, you mosey on down to the where the dead bodies are. What the hell's wrong with me tonight?
The morgue?
You wander on down to the morgue, and there's a body in there. But you expected there to be a body in there because you know what's happening in the police station. And while you're standing there, and I'm going to call it a creature until we can fully see it, a creature is slicing open the belly of your corpse and climbing its way out of your corpse. Now, even once it presents itself and you go, well, that looks human, what's your next step?
I mean, I feel like he should have opened fire.
Every bullet that he could get his hands on should have been in that thing. And then he should have recollected the bullets and shot him again.
Yes. Because even though it looks human and we have no, it would be just as crazy to say, yes, this lady's son sawed himself out, or there was an alien creature that burst out of her chest, so I killed it. Both are just as believable as the other one.
There's no scenario where the next cop comes downstairs and this woman is split open and there's a dead kid on the floor that I don't just go, you wouldn't have done it differently. Trust me on this, you wouldn't have done it differently. But instead, we have to believe that the cop saw all this happen and was just kind of like, hey, you need me to hold the door for you on the way out? Or you want to take a shower first? What are we thinking here?
Do you want to come back in 30 years and get vengeance on the town, or do you want to do it now?
Let me delete your name from the computer so no one can ever figure out who you are with all the context clues in the world, not put it together. Fuck.
Plus, like, okay, they might not know who the kid is, but they have photos of the kid. So
they know who the kid is. They know who the kid is. They know who the kid is. There's no conceivable way for them to not know who the kid is. Even if it took 2 years for it to collect, they know who the kid is. We have this 7-year-old who showed up exactly when this 7-year-old disappeared from 2 towns over. And this 7-year-old is crazy and likes playing with scalpels. I'll bet that it's their son. And that's it. And then you know who he is. Even if you're wrong, you can label him that until someone comes up and corrects you. Nope.
Yeah, but
he's patient 192.
You should definitely know. Okay, once you find a missing child, because this kid was living in the woods or wherever he was living for 2 years, or at least over one, because he was orphaned when he was 7, institutionalized when he was 9. So for at least over a year, up to 2 years, this kid was on his own. So he can't be too drastically different as far as he looks. So the first thing you would do is when you find a missing child is check for missing children reports in your local area.
Of course.
And then you're going to come across, hey, wasn't Rendell's kid missing? Like, yeah, it may take you a month or two to go through everything and figure it out, but somebody's going to figure it out.
He was in an orphanage.
Yeah.
What orphanage is taking
like,
kids with no paperwork? Like, what
it's
orphanage?
not like,
where did this child come from? Who looks exactly like the child on the news who they said is missing? Where did that child come from? From the town that we're in that he was from. Oh my God.
It's not like, you know, they committed the murders in Miami, and this kid shows up in Anchorage.
Right. He
you know,
never
like,
left like a 10-block radius of
Yeah.
his house. I know where the dead cats in my backyard belong. Like, I know which house they came from in the first place before the coyote got them. I'm gonna know. Hey, that's the kid from the what had to have been at least statewide, if not nationwide, scandal about this doctor and his wife.
Yeah.
What a fucking nightmare this movie is.
Oh.
Anyway, this is now we get to the scene that you enjoyed with Diane and Stu, and the lingerie, and I don't want to rehash any of this scene whatsoever.
Oh no, we don't.
Suffice it to say, they're both dead by the end of this. Well,
Yeah.
she's dead. He's not. Stu lives.
Well, the only thing we didn't discuss is that when Stu comes out of the bathroom,
Post wrapping.
yes, and even then, like, Diane leaves the room because it's cold. She's got fucking blankets, and he's gonna be in there in a minute, and then that's not even gonna matter. So there's no reason for her to suddenly catch chill, because Dr. Giggles is out there fucking with the thermostat to get her to go out, because that is where he's waiting for her. And I'm sorry.
So first of all, this goes back to him wearing the condom preemptively. Now he's going to walk into a cold room. This is not going to go well for him. I don't know if he's ever had sex before, but he's not having it tonight no matter what happens. Then you have the doctor screwing with the thermostat, and it's simply so that he can say the line, "You'll catch your death running. You'll catch your death running in a cold like this." They set this whole scene up so he could say that, and then say, "Lucky for you, I have the cure for the common cold. Let's take your temperature," and then kill her. Like, they framed the entire scene so that they could do that.
Yeah,
and then,
this is sitcom like.
It's really just, it's too many cooks at this point, right? It's just layers and layers of preposterous on top of each other. And then the kid, and then the I guess younger son, right, was sitting there playing video games the whole time. He's playing Dr. Mario because of course he's got to play a doctor related game. Otherwise, what would be the point of all the fun puns in the movie?
Did you recognize that controller for Nintendo?
I did.
Is it really a Nintendo controller?
Yeah, but it's a third party, like a Mad Catz type of thing.
Okay.
It wasn't a real Nintendo controller, but the NES was the only thing he could have been playing that on. So I dug into some third party stuff, and that crap.
I was going to, but I was like, Paul will know this. I'll just ask him.
Correct.
But when Stu comes out of the bathroom, Dr. Giggles is now under the sheets, which is, if what just Diane did, then she would have been fine.
Right.
And there's something I can't quite place it, but it makes me think of another movie where it's almost like not reality based, where somebody's under covers, and it's sort of like the inside of the TARDIS now, where there's so much more room. Because I felt like he was like army crawling across a field just to get to Diane, who's right there. I mean, it wasn't, but Dr. Giggles. So which
again causes a huge problem for me in this scene. But go ahead.
And then Stu is killed when Dr. Giggles basically cuts his dick off.
Right.
So there's that.
And the layers of stupidity. the whole scene of him in the bathroom, putting the condom on, fishing it out of the toilet, putting it on, is also Dr. Giggles can say, I hope you have protection, and stab him.
Yes.
Now here's the question, though, right? So let's say it's a queen size bed, right? Let's say it's standard queen size bed, right? Now, a couple things. First of all, I understand the mindset of a high school guy that is about to have sex, and you're pretty much unaware of the rest of the world when you know you're in that, you know, locked in zone, and I understand. However, my girlfriend weighs about $1, maybe $110 tops. When I come out, there is a 300-pound man under my sheets, and it doesn't strike me as odd at all. Then I'm going to play a little peekaboo with my girlfriend, who has now tripled in size, and it takes me a couple motions to get close enough to see that it is not my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how quickly I have thrown the sheets off and rolled back the way I came. But essentially, this kid had to just lay there and let his dick get cut off. Otherwise, the ending of the scene doesn't make sense at all. No. It's just like, oh yeah, look, I do have protection, and then that was it. We was showing him that he was all good, and then that was.
If only he had protection, he would have been fine.
If only he knew how to roll to the other side, roll to your right. That's it. That's all that would have had to happen, because I don't care how strong Dr. Giggles is. That spry kid can hop up out of bed and run faster than Dr. Giggles can get out of the bed.
Oh yeah. Especially like, in his doctor gear.
Right.
Not the most, athletic. So this movie came out in 92. I looked it up. John and Lorena Bobbitt happened in June of 1993 on the 23rd. So then I wondered, and not to make light of the situation, because I know it was terrible for her, but did John make her wear his mother's lingerie? And did she get inspiration to seek revenge because she watched this movie?
I think I'm sure if we dig through all of the different interviews that she had done, that we could probably piece together what her motivation was and how her plot came about. And yes. I'm telling you right now, if I find out that it's because she watched Dr. Giggles, I will hunt her down and I will kill her. and I will feel not guilty about it whatsoever.
That is the only thing that would make the situation, crazier than just, tossing it out into a random field, is if it's, if it also a VHS copy of Dr. Giggles went out the window with it.
So far, this movie has predicted The Matrix and Lorena Bobbitt. So maybe they were onto something and we're just mocking the wrong parts.
Yeah. It's genius and we just can't see it.
So we have 2 murders in this house. Presumably both of them made some high level of noise. We know that Stu made some noise.
Yes. But I think Diane didn't get a chance to make noise, but yes, Stu made noise.
But that kid is catatonically locked into the TV, and Dr. Giggles is able to just stroll right out. He makes a joke to the kid too.
Yes, he does.
He's looking at the screen and the terminal. That's right. He says terminal.
Terminal. Yep. And the kid doesn't pause the game, but the kid does look up to hear the noise, and then just like, screw it, I want to play my game.
Move along.
So I mean, that's the most realistic part of this movie is, that like a 6th grader didn't want to stop playing a video game, even though he heard something horrible could be happening in the room next to him. So
then we get to Tamara. Tamara, I think I'm saying that right.
That is how I would say it.
This is the worst human being on the planet, Tamara. And while the father is out looking for his daughter, which Tamara should be helping with, she stays home and eats a giant bowl of Ice cream, I guess.
Melted ice cream straight from the freezer.
I figured either melted ice cream or cereal in a milk bowl, but I think it was ice cream. I think you're right.
But it was essentially ice cream soup.
So the other thing with this scene, before we get all the way to the actual murder, because obviously Dr. Giggles is going to be here, but why? We don't know why. And then this is where Dr. Giggles sees Jennifer's heart monitor in the fish tank. So now he knows that someone in this house has heart trouble, and this bonds him to that person. If this had happened at the beginning of the movie would have been so much better, because you would have had like this weird subplot of him trying to relive his father's, quest and whatever it might be. Right. This shows up so late in the fucking movie that you just don't care anymore. You've just completely, all of your senses have been obliterated. So he notes that he found that. He goes downstairs, bottled wine. She's eating her ice cream, and she kind of like flicks the ice cream at the dresser mirror. And then when she wipes it off, there's magically a medical bag on her bed. And Dr. Giggles is behind her, ties her up, and stuffs a sock in her mouth. And he says, ice cream's not good for you. And then he pumps her stomach in the most vile way possible. This was so good that I honestly looked away for a second just to regain my composure when they were, drawing everything out of her stomach. This was a very well done scene, and I'm so happy that she got painful treatment like this. I wish it had been a more excruciating death for her, but unfortunately it was not. I can only hope that she had an ice cream headache the entire time.
Yeah, this was the first time even though I hated Stu, I don't like most of the people in this movie, but this was the first one I was like, yes, she deserves to die.
Yeah, Stu, Stu's a standard issue high school douchebag.
Yeah,
but this is a
right.
Fully,
like I'm not. Yeah,
fully formed, inhumane adult.
And the only thing I don't get, like we've talked about this. This is the first death that I can't make sense of as to why he's doing. All of the other deaths so far, people that have either trespassed on his property or he's come into contact with. This is like his first hunt. So it's very, very weird that his first hunt just happens to be the home of Jennifer, who is friends with Diane, Stu, Tupper, what's his name? Trotter, and Lee. Yeah. So how is that? How is it that he finds himself in her house as the first person that he's going to go out and kill to get vengeance?
I tried to go back, and maybe I missed it. And I know there's like 3 different director's cuts of this movie, so maybe I got to look at all of them. At no point in time does the father ever mention that he had anything to do with, the prior happenings. And at no point in time was anything, when she was flipping through her old photo album, like there wasn't anything there that was some sort of tip-off clue that they may have known them or whatever. There's no connection to them at all. And Tamara dies because he's in the house, and at that point she's in the way, but we don't know really what she's in the way of at all. Like you're right. We don't know why he decided to go to the second story of this house and break in. And the only reason he's there at that point, as far as the movie's concerned, is to note that there's a heart patient in the area.
Yes.
Like that's it.
Yep.
And that's ridiculous. Just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then
he could have observed her having issues from afar, and then decides he's going to help her, because the father can't really have anything to do with the death. Dr. Giggles is 42 years old, and so Dr. Giggles and the father have to be about the same age, give or take a few years.
Right.
So, but maybe Jennifer's grandfather
Well,
had something to do with
sure,
it.
sure, or maybe at that point, like the father saw something and he ran home and called the cop. Like he could have been the one that called the cops for the final showdown, whatever it might be.
Right.
He could have been somewhat entwined in this, but you got to tell me that happened. I'm not just going to guess that this is why he's there. I don't even know if they mentioned, like, did they live there before the mother died? There's a whole backstory that we don't know a lot about.
No, just he had to go to this house so he could start the journey to try to save Jennifer.
So as this movie drags along again, we find out that Max was cheating on Jennifer, and Jennifer finds out that Max was cheating on Jennifer, and so she does what any broken-hearted person would do. She goes to the Hall of Mirrors at the carnival.
You need time to reflect.
That would have been the best line in the movie had Dr. Giggles delivered that. That would have absolutely been the best goddamn line in the movie.
Yeah. And while in there too, he could have said, like, I hope you enjoy my split personalities. Just there's other jokes that are here that might have helped a little.
So Corinne, I guess, goes in to talk Jennifer off a ledge about the cheating or whatever it is. Although Corinne was very adversarial with Jennifer up until this point.
Yes. Yeah, I think she just runs after Max.
Okay.
Which the whole, I feel like this town is just like compacted. Everything that they need is right next to each other. The school seems to be right next to the fair. The doctor's office is right next to Dr. Giggle. Like there's so many things that are just so close that all they have to do is walk for a minute and they're there.
Right.
So I was confused as to where these kids went when they left the fair.
To the doctor's office.
So it looked like some sort of music room in a high school.
Yeah, it did. When they were cheating, it looked like it's exactly what it was, because you could see the stands all around and there was instruments strewn about. You know how you don't ever clean up anything at the end of the year in high school. So everybody's in the House of Mirrors. Kareem runs into one of the mirrors and busts up her nose, and Dr. Giggles comes back and says, probably just need a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So she's dead. And Jennifer winds up finding an alternate part of the maze, I guess. Like there was a spinning door, as if those mazes aren't confusing enough as it is. And then when the door comes back around, that's when she sees that Corinne is dead and a comically large Band-Aid is holding her to the door. So it is awesome that this guy has like the Cat in the Hat bag for his medical bag that he can just keep reaching in and grabbing new stuff. Or the other possibility, since he's so quick with all these quips, is he packed the giant Band-Aid and was waiting for the opportunity to use the joke.
Yeah, but where does he get the giant Band-Aid from?
Giant Band-Aid store?
Yeah, down at the Band-Aid district.
That's right, down on 3rd.
Because I was willing to overlook the fact that he's just walking around with this machine that can suck things out of people in his bag. The bag's not big enough, and to carry that around with you and hope you get the right opportunity, like you're saying, to be able to use it is crazy.
Well, he is crazy, so that works.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have so many different things in your bag. But you can make the argument that I'll listen to that a doctor might need this contraption for whatever reason. Okay. It's a stretch, but okay. But to the other thing that I would expect him to bring out here is like giant sunglasses and clown shoes. Or just because it's so weird that he brought this Band-Aid out, because he's only been out for a few days. I don't think he's had time to go, Band-Aid shopping. So that means the dad had this, or he had it as a kid, and it still sticks strong enough 30 some years later to be able to support holding somebody to a wall. Like it became a different movie when he used that Band-Aid, and not in a good way. It needed to become a different movie,
In a good way.
but not the movie it became. Because now, not only do we have these bad jokes, we have forced methods of death being used that just would never happen. You either have to make it all giant Band-Aid things, or giant Band-Aid adjacent, or no giant Band-Aids.
So, just as an aside, and we'll tuck this away for a second, I suppose. We now have a dead body in the Hall of Mirrors at the town fair. If there was ever going to be a point in time where a series of events, someone broke out of an asylum nearby, people are starting to disappear, now there's a actual dead body in the Hall of Mirrors.
He takes it with him, though.
But Jennifer saw it, and Max see it?
Correct.
Max saw it.
Max would have known that she was in there.
Right.
I don't know if Max saw it, but Max would believe Jennifer's account of the story.
Right. And we have no further heightened sense of panic in the town whatsoever.
Correct. Yep.
So we see I can't think of his name. We see Dr. Chamberlain leaving a message saying that, or we hear him leaving a message that the police have Jennifer, come get her when you get a chance, and here's the phone number to come get her. He comes home, the father, and he listens to the message and he hears the message. And then after that message, there's now a new message from Dr. Giggles. And he says, I'm your doctor and I'm standing right behind you. And when Tom turns around, he cuts him with the rotary saw. And then someone's at the door. Yeah. How did he leave that message? Right. So first of all, technology.
Yeah.
It's not like he had a cell phone on him. It was 1992.
And that's where my head was. I he just called them.
Secondly,
but yeah, how did he leave that message?
Secondly, and far more importantly, how would he know their phone number?
Yeah. I mean,
unless
maybe
they say
it's
it on
the
their outgoing
phone.
Message, right? Hi, you've
Now,
reached 8332.
One of the things I'd love to do that was really stupid was there was I want to say it was like *68 or star something. You could hit star and there were two numbers that you could hit afterwards. And then if you hit the receiver real quick and then hung up the phone, your own phone would ring. So I loved doing this until my parents found out. We would do it anytime we were at a rest stop with all the payphones and watch everybody go up and try to talk to the phone and not understand what was happening. So it's possible that if Dr. Giggles knew this code, Dr. Giggles could have called the own house when the answering machine picked up, also pick up the phone, and now he's talking into it. But there would be a humming, like a steady noise that was always in the back when this happened. So that is the only thing that I can think of that he could have done. But then what we hear doesn't support that.
No, and here's your problem with that is that those were ringback numbers, and what they were designed for was obviously when the telephone people were making their installations, they could do these dial to test to make sure things are working. There's never a scenario where that ringback line is an active line, right? Like even it rings and you pick it up and you're talking to your own phone.
Right.
No, you're not talking to anything. It's just there to pulse the phone. And that's why on the payphones, you could lock it in to and they hang up and it rings again, and then they hang up and it rings again, and it never stops until you do something to reverse the action. So that's out. Again, and again, also, he's there to kill Tom at that point, right? So it's completely worthless to play that little prank. Like, it doesn't...
Right.
He's already standing there right behind him. He could just turn around and cut him. To play the prank of, I'm standing right behind you. Sure, it's scary, don't get me wrong, but it serves no purpose.
Maybe it's this kink that he has, that he has to stand behind somebody, let them know he's there before he kills them. Because that's what he does with the nurse, too. He wants you to know that he's there in certain circumstances when he's standing behind you before he does anything.
I was halfway hoping that we found out in the scene that Dr. Giggles was really good at impressions, and he had erased the cop's message
Yes.
and put a different message to lure Tom somewhere else so he could kill Tom. I was like, please don't tell me he can do impressions. Oh, I hope he can do really good impressions. Like, I was kind of torn on that until this scene fell the way it did. And I was like, I definitely would have rather that he deleted the message and put a new message on there, sending Tom somewhere else on a wild goose chase or whatever to kill him not in the house. But also, we don't know why he was there in the first place. So maybe he had to be in the house. Anyway, the cop is at the door while Dr. Giggles is in the middle of trying to slaughter Tom, and the cop runs over to Tom, which I feel like it's a dumb move. Like, I
agree.
Despite knowing how this already worked out, you see a person that's sliced up when you walk in the house. You have to first establish, how did that happen? And more importantly, who did that? Are they still here? Instead, he dives face first into Tom so that he can catch a knife to the back of the head and be dead.
He should be on his radio, calling for backup.
Absolutely.
Or even vacating the house until he has a better approach, because it's obvious this is a trap.
Right. And so he dives into the trap like these small town cops are wont to do. And Dr. Giggles says, "You owe me 35 years of sleep," and then stabs him in the head. Cool. Great. So now he's got his revenge. So now the movie should be over.
Yeah.
But it is not.
Yeah.
But it is not.
No.
Jennifer's with Dr. Chamberlain. Jennifer, who just saw a dead body in a hall of mirrors, is with the doctor like nothing's happening whatsoever.
Yep.
And Dr. Giggles...
Oh, because the police they don't believe her. The chief of police they do the thing where the police eat all the time during the movie.
Right.
He's just got Chinese takeout, and he can't be bothered to hear about these kids talking about how murders are happening in this town. So it's just that's where the plausible deniability comes in. There has to be a reason why some of the police don't take it as serious as they should, because if they did their jobs, Dr. Giggles would have been caught a long time ago.
Well, and even if you do the whole they're not taking it seriously thing, okay, fine. Here's the deal, though. When it comes to Corinne, she is a member of the town, right?
Yeah.
All I should have to do, theoretically, is call her parents. Hey, is Corinne home? Yes. Oh, yeah. Cool. So I guess she's not dead. Or, hey, is Corinne home? No. Are you expecting that she should be? Yes. Oh, she might be missing. Let me call her friend's house. We can't find Corinne because she's dead. Like it's a very simple for the ones where it's bodies that you don't know who they are and things like that. I get they can write it off and it kind of floats in the ether. This is a member of the town that everybody knows. It shouldn't take more than 20 minutes to establish we know where she is or we don't know where she is. And if we don't, we can do the whole, how teenagers are, but not alone.
Right.
It's going to be with at least one other person, and we can't figure out who that one other person is. She's dead.
Her friend should be able to place her there.
Yes.
And then say she went in and she never came out.
Saw her run in.
Then the body might not be inside the Hall of Mirrors, but tons of damage and blood is.
All the shattered windows, all the blood. And he didn't clean up and rebuild
if somebody
the Hall
got
of Mirrors.
Injured, no. If somebody is injured in there and they're bleeding bad enough to leave lots of blood behind, they're going to come out and say, I need help.
Yeah.
So either you're going to talk to the person that's running the Hall of Mirrors, say, has anybody, come out and needed medical attention? No. Then you check with your paramedics that are at the carnival. Has anyone come over and needed medical attention? No. Okay, crap. We've got a problem here.
We got a whole lot of things stacking up in Jennifer's favor for her story here.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jennifer's calmly getting her heart looked at by Dr. Chamberlain. And here comes Dr. Giggles, and he stabs Dr. Chamberlain, and Dr. Chamberlain is able to fight with him a little bit, but of course, because Dr. Giggles has also got the strength of 10 men, I was going to say something else there, but it would be very suspect, but also would harken back to him playing Benny on LA Law. He takes a sphygmometer and wraps it around Dr. Chamberlain's neck and starts pumping it till it strangles him. so many problems with this as a concept. So many problems. And the first one and the easiest one is that it's either snapped or Velcroed on. So all I have to do is this, and I'll survive.
You've broken free.
And considering that he's a doctor, he should be well aware of that, or pull the tube off and it will just deflate on its own.
Yeah.
Or grab something sharp and cut it and you'll be okay. Like, there were so many you'll be okays, and instead he just gets a little something about in 6 seconds you won't, in 6 seconds you'll be dead. And then his big bloated face with the sphygmometer around it dies.
Yeah. And something about Dr. Chamberlain's office too. I spent a lot of my time as a child in doctor's offices or hospitals with my asthma. So I feel like I know what the interior of a doctor's office looks like. Movies love to put eye charts in a medical doctor's office.
Regardless of their specialty.
Yes, it does not matter. There will be an eye chart in the doctor's office, so we know it's a doctor. Not because they've said they're a doctor, not because the patient's there to be treated. Yes. I don't trust this guy. Where's his eye chart?
Well,
he's a heart specialist.
What if he has to check me for a concussion, though? Why would the heart specialist ever have to check you for a concussion?
Right, because it's not a general practice, and maybe it's a smaller town, so maybe not. But you would think for someone with Jennifer's condition, she will be at a specialist office, and a heart specialist doesn't care if you can, you can tell whether it's an O or a Q from 25 feet away.
That's not going to have anything to do with your left ventricle.
Yeah.
You got to look at the Snellen chart, otherwise your heart is not going to pump right whatsoever.
I could be wrong, and I just got tired of going back and looking, but I am almost positive
I get it.
that this office that she's in now is not the doctor's office she was in before, because I didn't see the eye chart, and that was the point of this.
Was it even a doctor's office at all?
It was not a doctor's office. So that means this doctor came to the police station, went into a separate room with Jennifer in like some makeshift heart monitoring thing. No, you take her to the hospital, or the OSP at least. If you don't have a
simple makeshift heart monitor using a smartphone with a camera and a piece of clear tape. Place your finger
Alexa, stop.
Siri.
Okay. They're not listening. So anyway,
even Alexa knows what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It made no sense. Jennifer should be in the hospital, not the doctor's office, or not an makeshift office in the police station. It's her doctor's not going to come down to see her at that point in time. He's just going to go, no, take her to the hospital.
So I don't want to speak up for this movie whatsoever, but I can make a case for this. I can make a small case for this. She's at the police station. She's in this high panic situation where she thinks her life is in danger, or at least she's considering the possibility. Her heart monitor is not functioning because she took it off and put it in the aquarium, but It's not functioning. Contacting the doctor and saying to the doctor, listen, we don't want to let her out of our sight right now because something's going on. Can you come look her over? We know she's having some problems. It's not totally off base. Now, the fact that the room was equipped as a doctor's room might be completely preposterous, but her being there in the first place and the doctor opting to go there instead of take her to the hospital and risk her being out in the open, I almost could buy that. Almost.
Yes. I would agree because that's going to be the first call. You're going to call the doctor. But like you said, the police station shouldn't have this equipment. So she would need this equipment. So at the very least, you should have paramedics show up and take her in an ambulance where they can monitor her. And you send an officer or two with her if they feel like her life is in danger.
So this leads us to the fight with Officer Joe. Now, Officer Joe seems to be a fit young man, ready and willing to do his job. And the way
Correct.
that Dr. Giggles dispatches with him in this fight and then kills him, I don't know where Dr. Giggles got the strength. That's
Yeah.
something I'm going to come back to again. He spent 40 years in an insane asylum that I highly doubt has a Gold's Gym inside of it.
No, he's not going to be, near any of that equipment.
No. So he beats the crap out of Officer Joe and throws him, like just hoists him at one point across the room. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's trying to save Jennifer, but Dr. Giggles is already there. And so there's more of a fight. And then Officer Joe gets killed with the rotary saw, which that is one weapon that he comes back to a couple different times.
Yeah.
Now Jennifer is being prepped for surgery. Like, this is the blur of this. Like, they slow paced it, and then all of a sudden they just hit this one point where, like, we just need this movie to be over. Let's just go with everything. Which I totally agree with that. That might be the one right decision they made. She's getting prepped for surgery. She's at the hospital. One of the doctors sees there's blood on the floor and goes to look at it and sees that the other two doctors have been killed in the other room. And then she gets her neck broken. So there's this one doctor, and he's in a room getting ready to perform surgery. In a room that he anticipates there should be 4 doctors.
Yep.
And there is 1 doctor. And then a doctor with half of his face burnt off comes in the room and says, I'm her primary, and I'll do the surgery. And this doctor seems fine with this. He makes no panic move whatsoever. There is no. Also, by the way, not for nothing, but in my experience with heart surgeries, there's some nurses in the room. There's more than just the doctors that are there to perform the surgery. There's a lot of other things going on that aren't going on at all here.
Well, because they all died, but he's all gung-ho and ready to go on without them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do it myself. So Jennifer is about to be put to sleep because they are doing the surgery immediately, even though there's only 1 doctor left. But she manages to get out of the gas. Just like, she seems a little woozy, but she's okay. The doctor, now in his magic bag, has this tool made out of metal that had to be like 4 times the size of the bag. And multiple tools. It was just it was a metal box with metal spikes in it, and basically he could shoot it like a gun, and it just tenderized. That's what it did. It tenderized the other doctor's head and stole his glasses, which I thought was rude.
He says he created these.
Yeah.
But when did he have all that spare metal just laying around the house, bright and shiny? Like, this isn't old and rusted stuff that was left over. I'd believe that to an extent.
Right.
But this guy has all these tools that he had time to craft in between killing all these people. And I would have appreciated a POV scene on this one a lot more, even if it's from the back of the doctor's head and we see the spikes go through the back of his head. Because if you're going to make something like that and use it to slam into someone's face, I really think we should see how that works. This isn't one that's better left to the imagination. This would have played out better, in my opinion, if we saw the tool in use.
I'm with you. So now Jennifer knows she's in, hot problems. So she's fighting with Dr. Giggles. She's throwing stuff at him. She makes a little quip, and then because he's standing in liquid and she's not, she uses the defibrillators to electrocute him, which really wouldn't, but that's neither here nor there. But he does fall over, so she can grab the tool that he created.
Right.
Death by his own design. And she says, take 2 and call me in the morning. Is there a doctor in the house? And then kills her. Now,
yeah, well, he ends with, is there a doctor in the house, when he looks directly at the camera. Right. But yeah, and like, she's not going to say that. She is not going to deliver those lines after all she's been through. She doesn't know that he's wisecracking this whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
She wasn't there for any of the other deaths to know that she's kind of turning his little gimmick on him. She has no idea. She's just decided to be a sarcastic asshole right before killing the doctor.
Yeah, I think the only one that she was privy to was the Band-Aid when he said, don't worry, it's ouchless or something along those lines.
Right.
So that, even then, that is not enough to come up with your own catchphrase or your own pun to zing them back with.
Right. And thankfully, at this point, they do something really cool with this movie, which is they roll the friggin' credits and we don't have to watch anymore. The greatest moment in the movie is the fade to black. So I ask you, and I hope I know the answer here, but did they make the movie they set out to make?
I believe they did. I think they just wanted to make a movie about a giggling doctor that kills people, and we got a giggling doctor that kills people. But with what you've told me since I thought about this, I'm still going to say yes, depending then on who we're talking about. If we're talking about the guy that wrote the script, no, this is not the movie. If we're talking about what all the people in charge who shouldn't be in charge wanted to make, my guess is this is what they wanted to make.
I will, in kindness, go to my grave saying that no, they did not make the movie they set out to make. Because I refuse to believe anybody purposely made this movie.
Yeah.
I refuse.
I can't argue with that. I will change my answer.
Are you going to watch it again?
And this is a movie where if I look at it solely from just being a horror movie, I'm not too upset with it overall. But it is not a good movie. It's just not.
I'm fairly sure we established that.
Yes. I've watched this many times in the past. I would watch it again, but it would be a while. It's not something I'm going to purposely seek out in the near future. But if I found myself watching it again, I wouldn't be terribly upset.
So, and this doesn't happen as frequently with horror movies as it does with other movies. I get that. If it was on, I wouldn't change it. I am not ever going to put it on purpose,
right?
For any reason whatsoever. It's not funny enough for me to just watch it for the chuckles. It's
right.
Not it's not gory.
It's
enough,
not funny.
Right. It's not gory enough for me to watch it for the horror.
Right.
It's not a cool enough plot line to try to like piece little things together. There's no rewatch value in this movie because there's no watch value in this movie in the first place.
Yeah.
So how do we fix it?
I have a couple little tweaks with the story. I found Jennifer to be very unlikable, and it might not be fair because of how her character behaves, but I understand why her character behaves that way. You know, she's got a heart condition. She recently lost her mother. Her father's girlfriend, is a problem. So I would just change when we find out that she has the heart condition. So her and her friend should be very, very excited in that first scene about what they're going to do for the summer or the plans they have upcoming. Then she goes to the doctor's office, finds out she can't do these things. So now we have a little bit more understanding as to who Jennifer is. She's trying to get over the loss of her mother. She's trying to have fun. She's trying to get out there, but it's just something else that's holding her back. And then I kind of understand why she might be a little distant with Max, why she might, be reminiscing of photos and drinking when she shouldn't. I get that a little bit more then. But with that, I like how she's treated even less than I like her. Max is basically going to get away with cheating on her just because tragedy happened afterwards. You know, he had to save her, he had to rescue her. She's not even slightly upset with him at any point after the mirror, you know, the House of Mirrors.
Right.
I feel like her father cares about her and loves her, so it doesn't make sense that he would date somebody who is not good for his daughter, especially someone who is so not good to that degree. So to fix this issue here, I am changing the character of Corinne and eliminating the character of Tamara. So we can keep the ice cream kill scene exactly the same, and we're going to get rid of the funhouse mirror scene, and Corinne is going to be rejected by Max when she's trying to get him to cheat on Jennifer with her. And then she's not happy and she goes to eat the ice cream, and then we can get rid of the Band-Aid scene altogether. And so that's a small fix there. The movie is also called Dr. Giggles. I understand giggling is a coping mechanism that he uses to deal with the loss of his mother. But what we don't know is when we see the title of this movie, I'm expecting to be more humorous or to have better written lines. If your movie is named Dr. Giggles, then I want more humor. All of the lines he has falls flat. And there's only so much we can do with these throughout the movie, but we have to find a way to improve these jokes or present these jokes differently. And I'm not investing the time to rewrite all the jokes, but even just talking back and forth, we came up with some better ones than were in this movie. So it wouldn't take that much effort to do this. We've talked about the doctor's plan and his kind of motivation for killing. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. But like I said, we only seem to be focused on a very specific group of people and anybody that gets in his way. So in order to, he kills the people that escape. He kills the people he has to escape and the people that have been at his house. Then when he moves on from those, he goes to Jennifer's house. Well, Jennifer is part of that friend group. She never went to the house, so it doesn't make sense that he's going there. To fix this, we can have either Mrs. Henderson never go to the house to investigate. Don't make her a nosy neighbor. Just make her someone that lives in the neighborhood. So then when he enters her house, it's a random event. So now we have a random event mixed in with the other killings. So it makes a little more sense for him to randomly be at Jennifer's house. We can also have him be more focused on getting revenge for his father, more than just killing the people of the town. But we get a little too close to maybe Nightmare on Elm Street, where he can be focused on the children of the people that killed his father,
right,
or those people themselves. But I don't know what kind of horror movie we're just going around killing like 70-year-olds. So I get maybe we're not going to do that. So that's why we're killing the kids here. And then I feel like if we do that, though, if his motivation is to kill just the families that wronged him or he perceived to be wronged, now it's going to be even more complex when he was set out to kill Jennifer because she's the daughter or the granddaughter of someone that killed his father, but he has an opportunity to save somebody with the same heart condition that his father couldn't cure. Then that's a little more difficult to watch him be torn apart, especially if he's schizophrenic. One moment he's trying to save her, and the next moment he's fighting himself from trying to kill her. And that, to me, is a more interesting movie.
A blank screen for 2 hours is a more interesting movie, but this is good. I like what you've done here. I'm going to go in a slightly different route here. I am going to slaughter this movie. I'm taking out Tamara altogether. Tamara's gone completely.
Yeah, she has to go.
I'm taking out everything related to the torn fabric. That's gone because it's meaningless. I'm taking out the stolen car scene. Meaningless. I'm taking out the female nurse killing scene. Meaningless. And I'm taking out the baby cutting its way out of the mom because that's not just meaningless. It's fucking idiotic.
Yeah.
Now, with the 19 minutes of film that I have left, here's what I'm going to do. Dr. Giggles is going to escape, but he's going to kill Dr. Phillips on the way out, but it's just going to be a quick passing him in the hallway, got to slit his throat because I don't want him telling anybody I'm out on the loose. And that's that. That's how he gets out of the insane asylum, period. And yes, we know who he is. They know who to say escaped. They know the words of his name.
Yep.
He gets back home. He's going to extract revenge. I don't want him to be so cheesy as to have a cork board up there, but we get a pretty good idea of who he's targeting and why he's targeting them. And he's successful up to a point where he crosses paths with Jennifer. This might not be till like halfway through the, well, at this point, TV show, I guess. He crossed paths with Jennifer, inadvertently learning about her heart condition, and this, and kind of going to now merge into your movie, this kind of switches his thought process. Yeah, he still wants revenge, but he's so fascinated by this that he wants to see if he can fix it. Now, he gets Jennifer, and he's got her basically locked up, and he's pretty much experimenting on her, while he's also still extracting these other revenge plots. And that's how we get our way out of the movie is you know, he keeps trying to, he thinks he can fix Jennifer because he can pick up where his father failed, and his reasoning for wanting to do it is just gonna keep it simple. It's just that his father failed at this and he wants to carry on his legacy and do it right, and that's it. And then he basically winds up getting taken out in the same way that his father got taken out when the cops show up and it becomes a whole big shootout.
Yeah.
And that's it. I just want to streamline this movie so much because so much of it is unquestionably unimportant and bad. Like, it could be unimportant and good, and then it's like, okay, well, we got this scene because it was fun or whatever. Like you said, like you want to keep Tamara's kill scene. You like the kill scene. Okay, so it's a fun scene. It's a meaningless kill. It does nothing for the plot. Tamara existing in this movie does nothing for the plot whatsoever. But you like that scene. Okay, fine. Leave it in there.
Yeah. These
aren't even good scenes. They're meaningless, they're worthless to the plot, and they're bad. So yeah, just do away with all of it. Writing movies for Hollywood, I don't know if I'd be good at it. I'm not saying I would or wouldn't, but it's got to be the easiest job in the world, right? Like these people get it wrong, horrifically, noticeably wrong all the time, and they make tons and tons of money doing this. So I'm really missing something here.
I wonder though, does the writer have it right? You know, unless we're talking ones that are, you know, filmed in 2-3 weeks. Does the writer have it right, and then too many hands go into the pot and start changing things, and no one bothers to connect the dots and asks if we change something that happens at 10 minutes into the movie, 30 minutes later, it now makes no sense. So I think it's sometimes too many different ideas get jammed into something, and nobody bothers to make sure all the ideas flow together.
So I am curious to watch that other movie, Neighborhood Watch, to see, you know, it's tricky because it's a different, he's the writer is the director on that too. So in some ways that's bad because you don't get any oversight. You just get your own egotistical run. But for what you're describing, now we're getting away from writing movies and we're getting into morals. Because if I'm the guy who wrote the movie, you've already paid me, depending on how my contract looks, you've already paid me. So if you butcher my movie, now it becomes a matter of, do I care? Do I want to stand up for my art, or do I want to say, butcher this one too for another $3 million, and then while you're at it, you can butcher this one for half price because I'm a nice guy. And that's what that's going to come down to. Like, I don't have an established history as a writer, so it's not like you can go, how dare he write these movies when he used to write this stuff here. Go ahead, Do what you got to do. Just cut me my check.
Yeah.
And then if you want to take this brilliant piece of art that I handed you and tear it down, go right ahead. I might accidentally leak the script onto my Substack, but in the meantime, go do what you got to do.
Maybe it's one of those scenarios where you do 4 movies you don't want to do, so you can do the one you want to do.
That's right.
Type of thing.
My vanity piece.
Yeah.
I
did think of something that you're gonna love though. We can make a sequel for Dr. Giggles, and not have him die. If at the end, let's just pretend that his surgery is successful. He's able to actually operate on Jennifer, because when you were talking about how he has her captive,
right,
it got me thinking, well, what if it worked? I think it might have been really cool if he does the surgery and now she's like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I thought you were going to, blah, 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 whatever. And then he's like, I'm so happy my father's knowledge came in, to help.
Yeah.
And the surgery was a success. Mission accomplished. Now I can kill you. And then he kills her because the only thing he's actually interested in is if it works, not human life.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we get a Dr. Giggles too.
So one other thing I want to throw in there.
Giggles in space.
Why not? You can meet up with Jason and the Fast and Furious crew. The one other thing I want to throw in there, and then we'll wrap it up because we have been really hammering this movie. This might be the one instance of a movie where they could have ended it with, and it was all in his mind. And we got back to the psych ward, and I would have been thrilled. That to me, that kind of ending is lazy, and it basically takes apart anything that you've built leading up to that point.
Yeah.
For them to do it in this movie would be so artistically brilliant. Like, hey, that list of grievances that you have, it's because this crazy guy was just thinking of the whole thing the whole time. Don't even worry about it. And I would have breathed a sigh of relief like you couldn't understand. My monitor would have fallen over from the I would have breathed out from
You did it on purpose.
I mean, even if you didn't do it on purpose, but you went back and watched it and said, we got to do something to explain all this. And I'm going, okay, at least you acknowledge this terrible fucking movie. So that's been our bloody take on Dr. Giggles.
Yeah.
If you have any comments on this movie, you can find us at all the socials. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Blue Sky, and Twitter. It's One Bloody Take, all one word. We're also at TikTok, _bloody_take. You can find the podcast anywhere that you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Substack. Just search out One Bloody Take. We'll be there. Put out a new episode every Wednesday. Join us next week when we discuss 1981's Evil Speak. I'm Paul.
And I'm Russ.
And thanks for listening to our Bloody Take.